And actually, probably you can check once to let me know whether we are live or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Aishwarya, could you check? I think we are live.
Yes, we are.
Yes, absolutely. So I will just request everybody to put themselves on mute. So Zainab, I'm putting you on mute. So we will start our session now. So again, a warm welcome to all of you. Welcome to this session. Today's session is part of our celebration for the World Dyslexia Awareness Month. We are doing a very different topic today. This is more about, creating a positive narrative for ourselves so that we can manage our emotions better, our thoughts better, and function better. And this is for everybody. So uh, some of you could be professionals. I don't know, some of you are parents, teachers. So, and this, whatever our takeaway is from this session, we can pass it on to our students, our children, or whoever we are working with. Okay. So I will be sharing my screen now and we will be beginning the presentation. Just give me a second. Okay. I hope all of you are able to see my screen. Just give me a thumbs up if you are able to see the screen. That's great. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So the presentation, like all of you know, the topic is on crafting a positive narrative and transforming from self-doubt to self-confidence. Now, before we begin anything about creating a positive narrative, we have to look at the negativity bias, what it means, and why we usually end up creating a negative narrative of situations or things more than a positive narrative. So first, we are going to talk about the negativity bias and its impact on us. Then we are going to talk about the reasons behind the negativity bias. Why does it happen? We are going to talk about some cognitive distortions. Cognitive means to do with our thinking process and how does that influence our negativity bias. Then we are going to talk about the power of positive narration in changing this negativity bias. To end our session, we are going to discuss certain case studies. And in the end, I will be taking your questions and answers. If any one of you wish to make a comment in between, you can just raise your digital hand. And depending on the time that we have, I will call out to you and we can have a discussion. There will be some questions which I may pose to you in the middle of the session. I may call out to one of you. Just, feel free to chat with me on that particular point. So before we go into the negativity bias, let me start with knowing something about you. So we should start with getting to know each other. So this is all about creating a narrative for ourselves, right? Our own story. So who are you? That is the first question that I will be posing to you. And what I want all of you to do is use the chat box and write a line or two describing yourself. And I can give you a couple of minutes for this activity. So this gives me an idea about each one of yours perception of yourselves and what kind of language you are using to describe yourself. This doesn't have to be detailed, and of course, you can focus on what you want to talk about over here. Whatever you are comfortable with, just write a line about yourself. I like it, Zena. I'm a girl. Okay. If you want to add something more, you can. Okay, so I can see that all of you are going with your profession. So that is a very important part of our identity. If you would like to talk a bit about your personality, do add a word about yourself. Because profession is usually, it's a very neutral aspect. It's just what you do. But what about you? Who are you? You are also much more than your profession. So speak about one personality trait. Okay. Wise Pratiksha. I love it. Thank you. Enthusiastic kindergarten teacher Yasmin. Thank you so much. Positive response. Anjum, welcome. I'm happy and self-sufficient. That's wonderful. Beautifully put. Ketki is saying that she's independent and a satisfied person. See, positive vibes we are getting, right, already. Myself, nice Nilofer. Okay, that's sweet. I'm a talkative girl. Zainab, I just love it. Even I'm a very talkative person. Let's have some more responses. Let's see if we have any more. Everybody who has joined, feel free to just comment. Okay. Okay, you are a caring girl. That's wonderful, Muzania. Alefa. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you sharing something about yourself, because when this question is usually posed to us, if you will notice, usually there is a sense of discomfort. Like, what do I even say? Who am I? Because we usually do not put much thought into it. I'm usually like what I do, my profession, but who am I as a person? What are my strengths? What do I say to people? And a lot of times we are not very comfortable speaking about our positive qualities. That is also something that society has ingrained in us, like apni tarif khud mat kijiye. You know this, right? So don't speak good things about yourself. It almost sounds like it's bragging, but it's not. Feeling good about yourself and saying positive things actually enhances our mood and makes us feel better and perform better. Vaishali, I'm a wonderful girl. I'm social with everyone, Adiba says. And Preeti is saying that she is very patient. So, see, so many different positive qualities are coming up through your responses, and I just love it. So, now that we know a few things about, most of you, your positive qualities, we will now delve into that, why, in spite of having this positive image about ourselves, when a distressing situation happens, or sometimes when we hear a negative remark, or anything that doesn't go as per our plan, even if it is a small thing, why does our entire focus go on the negative, in spite of probably there could be many positive aspects, but our focus usually goes on the negative? Why does that happen? So we call this the negativity bias. And our negativity bias basically means it's a subconscious process. We are not doing it consciously. So, negativity bias means subconsciously we are giving more significance or importance to certain experiences which are negative in nature and ignoring the ones which are positive. And when we do that, when we focus on the negative aspects, it affects our mood and our general behavior. So, if you look at this image over here, you can see on the left hand side there are so many good things, but what is our brain doing? Our brain is focusing on that one bad thing. It has got, the all the brain's attention is caught by that one bad thing, and we are ignoring all the positive aspects. And how does this impact us? If this subconscious process is happening, we will get into why this happens. How does it impact us? For example, if somebody is working on a project and they get great feedback, overall 80% is like, or 90% of the feedback is excellent, but there's this one critical voice who is saying that this could have been a bit better, or you could have submitted this part of the project on time, or this was something that is not, that wasn't well understood. So immediately we feel disheartened or anxious. So again, all the positive feedback is ignored and we focus on that one negative feedback. Again, if you are having a pleasant conversation with a group of friends, one friend makes one sarcastic comment. Automatically, what happens? Our mind shifts and focuses on that one sarcastic comment. Probably after going home, even after having a pleasant evening, somewhere behind your mind, that thought could be nagging, like, why did that person make that comment? I'm not that. I didn't like it. And after going back home, you could be wondering, does that person like me, or what is wrong? Okay, so that does happen with uh, the negativity bias. It could be even a student who is excelling in extracurricular activities, but that student sees that their other classmates are excelling in the other subjects. So again, seeing that student, that student, instead of focusing on all the positive aspects of succeeding in the extracurriculars, the entire focus goes on what that student cannot do. So that leads to feelings of inadequacy and resentment. So this is how negativity bias affects us. Now, I just want to ask you: are you able to relate with this? Has this at any point in your life? Have you ever felt this happen with you? You don't have to speak. You can give a thumbs up. I'm not going to pursue this. If you have, just feel free to give a thumbs up. Yes. Okay. So Lavanya is saying yes, that does happen. Anybody else? Have you ever felt? Even Nakia is saying okay. Thank you. Thank you. So a lot of times it happens, right? Like one negative comment and our mood goes down. Anybody else? Okay, so I have got some comments. Okay, so lots of yeses and thumbs ups in the comment section. All right. So this is a very common factor. So let us go into why is this happening to us? So why is our mind like this? Why is it doing this to us? Why do we often remember the traumatic experiences better than the positive ones? And we know, right? A lot of people suffer from post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, we call it. It's very difficult to get rid of our past traumas and not to think about them. It affects us deeply, a lot, and a lot of people have to take therapy to overcome the traumas because our brain cannot let go of those negative thoughts and the experiences and the feelings associated with them. If someone insults you once, even if you had a very great relationship with that person in the past, all the positive things will crumble if you had one bad interaction, or if there's this one insult on one particular day that is made to you. So there's a bitter taste in your mouth about this entire interaction. So we remember the insults more than we remember praises. If there is anything negative overall, we react more strongly to negative stimuli than positive stimuli. So I was actually reading a lot about this. Negativity bias has been studied a lot. So it is used a lot in the advertising world. They will often tell you this offer is only till 27th of October. The great Indian sale is, going to go over after that. So everybody is panicking. Whatever I have to buy before it. Otherwise, I will lose out. So advertisers focus on this feeling of, this negative emotion of this fear of losing out, and they capitalize on that. They will not tell you that, the advertising is done in such a way. They'll not tell you that if you buy within this period, what you will gain. They will tell you if you don't buy within this period, what you are going to lose out on. And that triggers a more, stronger reaction from the customers. It's used a lot in the advertising world. So we think about negative things more than we think about positive things. That's also a truth. And overall, negative events affect us quite deeply, very strongly. Our responses are quite strong to negative events. Now, why is this happening to us? So this is pretty interesting. This has, actually begun right from the, evolutionary period. So through the process of evolution, and we know evolution, the mantra of evolution is survival of the fittest, right? So when human beings came and there were the cavemen who were living in the caves, the situation was very different at that time. There were many threats and many dangers around. So our brain over a period of time developed in such a manner so that the brain recognizes the threats and the negative stimulus much more strongly than it recognizes the positive stimulus. So this is actually a survival mechanism which over a period of time we have retained. So the structure of our brain and how it functions through the period of evolution, it hasn't changed much. At that time, it was very important for the caveman to be, protected. For example, if the caveman comes out of the cave, just like that, hearing a noise, there could be a bear, who is waiting, and that could mean death for the caveman, right? So you have to be very alert, hyper vigilant to threats. today's world has changed a lot. We do not need to be hyper vigilant, but the mechanisms in our brain remains wired in such a way that we still remain hyper vigilant, more vigilant to threats than we, are attentive to positive events. This is actually a mechanism through which our brain is trying to protect us. So this is a protective mechanism of the brain more than anything else. So let us have a look at what is actually happening in the brain. So there are different centers in our brain responsible for different functions. So the limbic system is plays a crucial role in detecting emotional and physiological responses to perceived danger. So if there is a danger, if a lion is walking towards you, the area in the brain which is going to be activated is the limbic system. So the limbic system, once it gets strongly activated, there is another center in the limbic system which is called the amygdala, which is the threat detector. The amygdala gets activated as well, and it is important for these centers to get activated, because once they are activated, you are in survival mode. So you panic, and that's a good thing, because if you do not panic and the lion approaches you, that could be fatal, right? So the brain at that point of time is telling you that you can either fight the lion, okay, go in combative mode, you run away from that situation, or it makes you freeze, stand still in fear. So these are the reactions of the brain when they perceive a threat. Now, this is perceived danger. So it means that sometimes whatever the brain perceives as dangerous may not actually be dangerous in reality. Sometimes our emotional brain is not, good at making a logical reasoning of a situation. For that, our prefrontal cortex is responsible, which is our logical or our smart brain, the front side of our brain. But when the emotional area is activated, the prefrontal cortex goes in the sleeping mode. Like more energy goes into the limbic system. So if there is a rope which I throw at you and I just say snake, snake, okay, you may immediately panic and run away. So you have not even paid attention to what it actually is that has come at you. So is it actually a snake? Does it look like a snake? You are not thinking rationally. Your limbic system is activated and flight mode is happening. Now, I'll pose a question to all of you. Now, this fight, flight, freeze response, and whatever I have said that we have been experiencing since the time of the evolution period, is this useful for us in today's world? What do you think? Like for the prehistoric period, it was definitely useful because we had to be hyper vigilant. There were many dangers, but what about now? Do we need it or should we do away with it? Okay, various responses are coming. Zainab is saying yes. Lavanya is saying no. Lavanya is like, do away with it, right? Pratiksha is yes. Okay. If I we Anjum is saying we need it. Yes. Okay. All right. So Pratiksha, if you just unmute yourself, can you just speak about why do we still need it? Lot of responses. So it won't be possible for me to speak to most of you. In the interest of time, I will speak to some of you. Pratiksha, if you can unmute, feel free to come in. Pratiksha Kadam, or I'll go to someone else. Nilofer, Vaishali, Adiba. Okay, one of you just speak about it. Adiba, would you like to?
May I?
Who is that?
Anjum.
Anjum. Yes. Okay, Anjum.
Hi. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we still need it because, like, in times of, for example, exams and things like that, and when we need to do prepare for things,
Yes.
when we have a deadline coming up and all, I think it is important to get a little panicky, because that would, I mean, not
Yes.
in a negative way, but I think it just helps. Yeah.
It
To,
does. It does. True.
yeah.
So, absolutely. Thank you, Anjum, for that response. Uh, okay, Pratiksha is saying she's having internet issues. No problem. That's fine. And thank you, Anjum, for that response. And rightly so, in the prehistoric period, like I said, hypervigilance was required. If you come out of the cave and there's a bear standing over there, that means it's over for you. Right now, we do not face such situations, but that does not mean that we do not need to be vigilant at all. So Anjum rightly said that a student has to prepare for exams, and positivity does not mean being in denial. Okay, positivity is about acceptance of a situation, looking at what is probably some of the positive aspects of that situation, but also accepting that there is room for improvement, and believing that if we take some constructive actions, improvement is possible. That is positive talk. Positive talk is not about saying nothing is wrong with me, I'm absolutely fine. Oh, I will do well in the exams anyway. I can just play video games. Why do I need to study? That's not positivity. Okay, that's toxic positivity. And again, if you have this kind of a positive, so-called positive attitude, you also tend to undermine other people's genuine concerns. So if somebody is sharing something with you, like I'm having some family problems, if you have this notion like, no, everything can be just dealt with, nothing needs serious attention, you may just say, oh, you are overthinking it, it's not that serious, you can deal with it, just learn to cope with it. So these are not helpful statements at all. So we sort of undermine other people and also our own experiences if we go into that toxic positivity. I'll give you another example. Like, imagine during the COVID time, we did have people, right? And this is very practical, who said, nothing wrong is going to happen. Okay, I don't need to wear a mask. And many of us can relate with this probably. And they went out there without taking the precautions, so that threat detection was just not happening. So that is not positivity. And then they ended up getting COVID. A lot of them, they had to suffer a lot, and their families had to suffer a lot because of that. So that is not what we are talking about. That is not positive talk. So now coming to, so this was so far what I have spoken about is to do with inherently how is our brain wired. So we know why our brain is mostly focused more on the negative aspects than on the positive aspects. This is usually, that is the reason our initial reactions could be focusing on the negative. There is another aspect which is to do with our past experiences. Apart from having this inherent aspect in us, our nurture or our past experiences also play an important role in how we think and feel about situations. Childhood experiences, some of our personality traits, what have our parents been telling us since childhood, that also shapes the way we think about events. So sometimes, these past experiences lead us to have, irrational or negative thought patterns, which we call cognitive distortions. And a distortion basically means you are not accurately perceiving what is real, and there is no basis for your perception, or there is no logical evidence behind your thinking. So if you have a distorted perception of yourself, more often than not, you will tend to jump to conclusions which are again not very fruitful. For example, conclusions like I'm unlovable, I'm a failure, which are very final in nature. And nobody is unlovable or nobody is a failure. There is no such thing. People have successes and failures throughout their lives. But if you have a distorted perception, uh, which is coming from your experiences or your personality traits or whatever you have learned from childhood, then these kind of conclusions you are more likely to jump on, because this then compounds that negativity bias which we are born with, which is already there inherent. So these are the two different aspects, nature versus nurture. Now, some of the common, cognitive distortions that are frequently seen in people uh, who have these thought distortions. So one is catastrophizing, which means that expecting that the worst is going to happen to me. Okay, or nothing good can happen with me. So for example, if a student is not getting admission in a college of her choice, she may say that if I do not get admission in that particular college, my life is over. Now, this is a huge statement. My life is ruined. So that's a catastrophic statement. So that's one kind of thought pattern. Then the second is mind reading, assuming what others are thinking and feeling. Okay, a student raises the hand in the classroom to answer a question and gives an incorrect answer. After the teacher goes, even if there is no negative feedback as such, the teacher is, has handled it well. Nobody has made fun of that student. The student is thinking, everybody must be thinking I'm no good. Okay, I don't know anything or I'm stupid. But that is you trying to read other people's mind. You don't know. Nobody has told you that. Negative focus. Okay, like I said before, if you do a project, you get 10 good feedbacks and one critical feedback, your entire focus is on the critical feedback, ignoring the positive part. So that's your negative focus. Control fallacy, which means that you have this, hyper control over situations, over all the, situations in your life, which we are not. We are not in control all the time. A lot of things happen. Most of the things happen outside our control. So in academics, we could see it like if a student is part of a group project and something goes wrong in the project, there are other people also who are working in it, but the student may feel I am responsible for it. I must have done something wrong. That is the reason everybody failed. Personalization. So this is like make a feeling that you are responsible. This is sort of similar to control fallacy. It could mean like, for example, if your child is not doing well in academics, you end up feeling that I must be a bad parent. Something is wrong in my parenting. That is the reason my child is not doing well. So again, there is no evidence of that. Owning the truth. So when you are certain that you are right and your opinion is the truth. Okay. So if my friend has not waved at me, that means my friend dislikes me. So even if I tell you, no, your friend was actually, having a bad day, you tend to adhere to that rigid pattern that no, I don't think she likes me. So there's no logic behind it. Some other cognitive distortions, should statements. Okay, so people who speak a lot in shoulds and musts, that is the reason we say that do not use that language, because nothing is set in stone. So I should be able to handle everything by myself. If this is my statement, that is not very constructive, because none of us are equipped to handle everything by ourselves. Emotional reasoning. So which means that, see, basically feelings are not facts. We have to understand that. If I feel a certain way about a situation, that does not make it a fact. So for example, I may feel anxious. I'm feeling anxious before my exams, like Anjum was saying, that situation. So if I'm feeling anxious, that means I'm not prepared. So but I have prepared. So that anxiety has nothing to do with my preparedness. So I feel I must be ill prepared. Will I be able to take the exam? So that's an emotional reasoning. Overgeneralizing. For example, you are, going to go for office in the morning and you miss the bus, or you miss the carpool, and you make a statement like, today's day is a bad day. Everything is going to go wrong today. So that's overgeneralization. Then labeling, saying things about yourself like, I am no good, nothing good will ever happen to me. Why does all the bad things are happening with me only? Okay, I'm a failure. These kind of statements. Then just world thinking, thinking that the world is perfect and good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. There is no such thing. The world doesn't work like that. Sometimes bad things happen to good people also. There's no reasoning behind it. Anything can happen to anyone at any point of time. So this leads to victim blaming, just world thinking. So if somebody gets laid off from their job, then you end up thinking that that must be that person's fault. Okay, she must have been an incompetent worker. That is the reason she lost her job. But there could be other reasons. The company could be downsizing. There could be some recession related problem happening. That is the reason she lost her job. So there is no just world. And lastly, fortune telling. Okay, predicting what is likely to happen in the future. So, and thinking that the future is set in stone. So I'm not going to pass this exam anyways. Why should I study in the first place? I won't be able to do math. Why should I bother focusing on it at all? So these are some of the thinkings, the cognitive distortions, which along with the inherent negativity bias that we have, sort of compounds the problem. And if we do not address these problems or these thought patterns, then they affect our mood. It could lead to depression, mood swings, low self esteem, low self confidence, and a lot of self doubt. So you start doubting each and everything that you do. Should I do it? Should I go there? Should I speak to that person? And ultimately, a lot of blaming happens, a lot of victimhood sets in. The world is a bad place. People are out there to get me. So, this kind of paranoid thinking also starts developing, which could lead to serious mental health issues if these thoughts and cognitive distortions are not addressed. So, how do we do it? So, as one of the very potent solutions of dealing with it, language plays a very important role, because language is everything. Even in the cognitive distortions you saw, everything was to do with language, right? It's all about how we are framing the situation and what we are telling ourselves. Okay, I started the exercise today with asking all of you to say something about yourself, like what do you believe yourself to be? And some very nice responses came up, which means that you are being kind to yourself. You are not beating yourself up. But this was just this one exercise. There are many situations which come at us in life, which is not in this controlled environment, where you perhaps have beaten yourself up. Like, oh, why did I do that? I could have done it better. Okay, it was my fault. These things happen. We are human beings. So, a positive narrative is a story that you are telling yourself about yourself, or you are telling it to others, like this is who I am, so this is your story. And this involves being, self compassionate and understanding, having compassion for yourself. But this has nothing to do with deceiving yourself with that toxic positivity, like I discussed before. That this is not to tell yourself that, oh, everything is going to be fine, everything is going to be all right, I don't have to put any effort in life, life is just going to be smooth sailing. It's not that. Even when we cross the road, we have to be alert, and that time our limbic system is playing a big role. We are alert, we are vigilant to threats, right? Where from, from where is the bus coming, where is the bike coming from? We adjust our movements. Okay, that's a sympathetic nervous system working at that time, helping us do that. So being self-compassionate doesn't mean being in denial. It means switching to ideas like, okay, this time whatever I wished for did not happen, I can do better next time. Or if I've made a mistake, it's a learning experience. So we can think like that and reframe the situation in that manner. So the best part is our brain can change. There is a concept which is called neuroplasticity, which means that if we practice using positive language with ourselves systematically, being more aware and more mindful about in what kind of situations do I usually feel down and I start beating myself up, or I start saying something to my child or my student or any significant other which is not constructive, which can be hurtful, it doesn't make me feel good. How do I tap into those situations and how do I tell a different story to myself? So if we do it consistently, new neural pathways develop in our brain. So that is research proven, and this is a very potent exercise. It actually helps our brain to change over a period of time. So over a period of time, even if something negative happens, it becomes more and more automatic for you to rephrase the situation in a positive way. However, this is not an easy task. It takes time and a lot of practice and a lot of mindfulness. And also, this is not about phrasing each and everything with caution and with being very careful and cautious in your conversation. It's not about that. It's mostly about the distressing situations in our lives. That is the time we need to rephrase it, tell a different story to ourselves. So mindfulness and focus is required. So one of the techniques to use it to is to avoid negative words like can't, won't, don't, stop, shouldn't. And I'll be very frank with you, I also end up doing it. I'm also equally vulnerable like all of you. And I'm also human, so we all tend to do it. It's just about awareness, right? And improving one step at a time. Another way of doing this is like, if you have done something wrong, instead of apologizing, offer an alternative. Okay, so for example, if your boss is asking you for something, and instead of saying sorry I cannot find it, you can say, can you give me 5 minutes, I will look it up. So that's a more positive way of putting it. So you are not saying sorry, apologizing, you are offering an alternative. You're asking for time. Notice the small things even in unpleasant situations. So it is said that everything has a silver lining to it. So finding that silver lining. Sometimes there can be a lot of positivity, but we still are not able to see it because our mind is focused so much on that one negative thing. But it requires practice for us to focus on that positive aspect. Giving compliments, expressing gratitude. So if a student is in a competition and loses the competition, going ahead and complimenting the opponent, like congratulations, you won, that also makes us feel good, rather than sitting and sulking and worrying about why I didn't do well. I'm going and expressing, giving my compliments to my opponent. Immediately it gives us a positive vibe. We feel better automatically because we are saying something positive. Question the validity of your negative feelings. Okay, so for example, if your child is not doing well in school, how does that make you a bad parent? I'm just saying, if that is a thought. Okay, there could be so many different reasons why your child is not doing well in school. For example, one could be that your child has a neurodevelopmental condition such as dyslexia, which is not yet diagnosed or hasn't yet been identified. And you as a parent, you are trying to understand. So it has nothing to do with you and parenting. So keep questioning your negative feelings, your beliefs. And another strategy is to replace but, because it is said that anything good that you say and then you say this one word but, all the positive things that you said before that one but, it's sort of discounted. Nobody pays attention to that anymore. So instead of that, replace it with and. So that was good and it could be better. Instead of saying that was good, but it could be better. So this and statement is much more positive than if you use a but. These are a few techniques of framing, or using positive talk, positive language to make yourself or others feel better about themselves. I'll give you a few more examples. You can just see on my screen, and I'm not going to read it up, but you can see that sometimes we also make positive statements, like we are saying something positive, but we are using negative terminology. So a lot of can'ts, nots, shouldn'ts, couldn'ts, but it's a positive comment. So for example, no problem. It's something that a lot of us say, it's okay, but actually it's a negative statement. Instead of that, if we say certainly, that's counted as more positive. I'm not that bad. Say I'm good, I'm great. I can't complain. So again, complain is a negative word. Can't, again, is a negative word. Instead of that, things are really going well for me. So again, these are positive statements, but we are using negative terminology to say them. So it's a fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Fixed mindset means that when we are fixed in our thinking and we think that nothing can improve, it cannot get better. Growth mindset means that we are in a process of learning. Nobody is perfect and mistakes happen. If we put enough effort or if we try, we can improve. So that's the growth mindset. So using positive language promotes this growth mindset. So there are so many other statements on the screen. Just have a look. So again, like I said in that previous slide, do not apologize. Offer an alternative. Okay, or you can thank the person who is giving you the feedback. So instead of saying sorry I'm late, you can say thank you for waiting for me. That's much more positive. Or I liked, like one of you had said, I'm a talkative girl. You said that very positively. I love that. So you don't have to apologize for that. Okay. Sorry that I talk too much. Instead of that, you can say thank you for listening to me. So immediately the energy, the vibe changes. So some of the benefits of positive talk is that it obviously improves what you think about. Okay, Adiba had said some time back that she is not able to hear my voice. I don't know whether that's still happening. Okay, I hope that's sorted. Others are able to hear. So some of the benefits of positive self-talk is that you feel good about yourself. So it improves your own self-perception. You do not become apologetic, or you are not doubting your own capabilities. You are being kinder to yourself, and you are becoming more and more confident about yourself. And that confidence, that feeling good about yourself, then results in better mood and well-being. And actually you end up inspiring others, because if you can take a negative situation and turn it, give it a positive spin, others will look at you and say that, oh, what a leader she is. Okay, so it could be at the workplace, it could be a student in school who has not done well in certain aspects, but is still giving is not feeling down, is doing well in some other aspects, or in some other areas where that student has strengths. So you can inspire others, because positive talk promotes resilience. So people start to get inspiration from you. Improved workplace environment also. So like I said, instead of saying, I don't have time right now. So somebody saying, please do it. And you say, I don't have time right now. So instead of that, you can say, if you give me an hour, I can get it done for you. Makes a lot of difference. Again, improved parent child relationship. So a lot of times, we end up doing that, telling our children, don't do this, don't eat that, this is not the time to watch TV. Instead of saying this is not the time to watch TV, rephrase it and say, what is the time for? This is the time for you to do your work. Instead of saying this is not the time to do something else, so you are giving it a spin, you are turning it. Okay, I hope this is making sense to all of you and you're able to understand what I'm trying to say about positive language. And so far, so good. Does any one of you, okay, Yasmin is saying certainly. Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Because after this, we are going to look at some case studies. And there will be a poll given to you, where you will have to identify some of the cognitive distortions that that student is going through or has, and probably give a more positive narrative for that person or that student. So if there are any questions, you feel free to just raise your hand and ask me, or you can just put it in the chat box. I don't see any hands raised, so I gather there are no questions as such. Okay. Okay. So all clear, right? So what we are going to do is, we are going to look at some case studies now. Okay. All right. So here is the first case study of Reena. And what you have to do is, basically, I'll read it out to you and you can also read it in your mind. There will be a poll coming up on your screen where you will have to identify the cognitive distortions that Reena is exhibiting and help Reena craft a more positive self-narrative for herself. So Reena has been asking for a toy since a long time, and her parents promised her something special for her birthday. Now she is certain that she will get the toy of her choice as a birthday present. Okay. Uh, Reena receives many presents from her parents on her birthday, but not the toy she wanted. This makes her upset and angry. So Reena thinks, my parents do not love me. I never get what I want. Okay. So Aishwarya, if you can just put up Reena's poll on the screen, I'll request all of you to have a look at that poll and identify some of the cognitive distortions that you feel Reena is exhibiting. Again, don't worry about right or wrong. This is not an exam. This is just, you trying to understand where is the thought process Going wrong. Okay. Great responses. Continue. Aishwarya, we will keep it for a minute so that most of them are able to answer. 12 people have answered out of 29. Yeah, I'll keep it on for a few more seconds. This could be a bit confusing because cognitive distortions, I've just spoken about it. People who have the background of therapy will be better, will be able to understand that better. But if you have just heard it for the first time, it could get a bit confusing. But great. Okay. Let me share the results. Okay. So most of you have said that negative focus, and I completely agree because we can see that Reena has got many presents. It's not like she hasn't got anything. It's not like her hands are empty. Uh, Presents have been given to her. So she is ignoring all the gifts, which could be nice ones, that she has got, and her only focus is on that one toy that she wanted and she hasn't got it. Uh, Mind reading is the next highest, 29%. I'm very happy to see most of you are getting that. It is mind reading because what she says is, my parents do not love me. So this is mind reading. Okay. She cannot possibly assume from this one incident that her parents do not love her. So this is mind reading. I never get what I want. So this is again, it's coming from negative focus. Catastrophizing would be more like, I never get what I want and I will never be loved. Or, my life is over. Everybody will, what will I tell my friends? I haven't got the toy. So I will never get what I want. That's like a catastrophic thinking. It will never happen. Fortune telling plus catastrophic thinking. So it's more like mind reading and negative focus over here. Okay. So now if I may ask all of you to probably say what could be a better statement for Reena. If you can write it in the chat, that will be great. So instead of my parents do not love me, I never get what I want, what can Reena say? Can you help Reena craft a positive narrative for herself in this situation? You can take a couple of minutes and think about it and write the narrative for Reena. So you know some of the strategies. Avoid the negative words. Can't, won't, shouldn't. Very like set in stone final thoughts. Avoid those. Yeah, I hope all of you, most of you are working on it. Anju, thank you. I've got so many lovely presents for my birthday. Yes, that's amazing. That's good. So that's focusing completely on the positive. Mom and dad, this gift is very good. I have got so many toys. Okay, I've got lovely gifts. You see, all of you are on the same page. Ah, Nilofer, I like that. There is also, so I have got a lot of toys, but there is that one nagging aspect that Reena wanted something, right? How will she phrase that? Because that thought is still there. She still wants it. So what will you do? So that I think Nilofer, my parents will certainly buy it for me one day, or it could be that uh, these presents are better than the toy that I wanted. It could also be like Reena can think like that also, who knows. Adiba, my parents love me, they will give it to me next time. Or these presents are okay, my parents love me a lot. One day they would buy me my favorite gifts. Or you can also, so that buying that gift has nothing to do with parental love. That is also something that needs to be focused on. Okay. So my parents love me and I can ask for the toy next time. and I love these gifts. So I think all of you are doing great. My parents will buy it. Okay. So basically what you need to do is you need to diffuse this narrative of how much importance that toy has. Okay. So it's not like if I don't get that toy from my parents don't love me. So that needs to be broken. So, and the toy I can get anytime. What is the big thing about it? Right now I've got many others. So great going, everybody. I am happy to see the responses. I can get the toy next time. Right now I will play with the ones I have. Good. Better than what I wanted, Nakia. Yeah. God give me best parents and they are the biggest gift. Vaishali. Good one. I doubt whether children will actually say it, but you can, help them to understand that the toy is just one thing and it has nothing to do with love from parents and focusing on the things that she has got. So, good. I will give you another one. There are three, okay? I will try to convince my parents to get it. That could be a bit problematic because then again the focus is going on what you don't have. So I liked, the ones that said that, I'm happy with what I have got. I have got many interesting presents, like Anjum said, and some of you have also said. And I can get that toy another time probably. I'm very happy with the toys I have got. I'll ask for the toy next time. So that very fact that you are happy with what you have changes the mental makeup. The vibe entirely changes from focusing on the negative to focusing on what you have. So, yeah. Okay, so Anish fears mathematics. Though he performed quite well in other subjects, his grade in maths was low. His teachers and parents praised his overall performance while expressing concern for his performance in mathematics. Okay, Anish is ashamed and disappointed. He's saying, I'm such a failure, I will never ever do well in maths. So, Aishwarya, if you can put out the poll, let's try to understand what kind of cognitive distortions Anish is displaying here. Labeling. We'll keep it for a few more seconds because there are around 30 people and half of you have responded. 20 seconds more, Aishwarya, and then we will shut the poll. Great participation. Good going. Whoever hasn't answered, just quickly take the poll. That's it. I think we will. Okay, let me share the results. Okay, there Aishwarya has shared the results. So, except for mind reading, all of the others apply. So, personalization, too much of blame taking, okay, on himself. Catastrophizing, I will never ever do well in maths. Also, that is fortune telling. So, catastrophizing and so fortune telling in a catastrophic way, basically, and labeling, I am such a failure. So, you all got it, like mostly labeling and personalization that has got the highest number of votes. Labeling is more because I'm such a failure. It is a very clear label. I think most of you were able to get that. So that's great. Now, how will Anish frame this difficulty, this low performance in math? What does he have to say that will make him feel better? So our job is to make Anish feel better about himself. How do we help him craft a positive self narrative? Okay, Fatima, thank you. I will certainly do better next time. All right, let's see some other ideas. I will do better next time. I love it, Anjum. I will work harder next time. And let me see what is it. And practice math regularly. So I like it because you are not focusing on the results. You are focusing on the process, right? So I really like that. So I'm more focused on what I have to do. I'm not focused on how much grade. So again, if you focus on a grade, anxiety kicks in. So practice it. I will try my best. So if you think that there is scope for improvement, okay, you will work hard. But if you feel I will never do well in maths, why will you even try? You will give up, right? I work hard and get more better. Thank you, Alia. Work hard. I will try till I succeed. Okay. Again, avoid these shoulds and musts. Like I have to succeed. Now, what is this success? So trust the process more. So basically, understanding that it's okay not to do well in one subject, but I can do better. I have the capability of doing better. So I will be working systematically on it. I'll continue to work on it. Okay. I'll get better. Yes, work hard, get. Okay. I will work hard. So instead of I can and I will, change it to I did well in so many subjects, and if I put more work in math, I may get better. I may get better grades in the next term. Okay. So instead of I will get it, I should get it, I must get it, avoid those. Because again, that sort of makes students anxious and builds more pressure on the student. So it's basically about realizing that everybody has to improve, nobody is perfect, and you have to be in the process of improvement. I can do better. I will try my best. Okay. Identify areas to change. I love it, Zainab. Nice. So I must think about where do I need to work harder. So that's more strategic. Sneha, avoid because what you have done, Sneha, is like you are using negative language. You are labeling in a different way. So if he decides his mind, I will do it because I am not a loser. Avoid this terminology. Now we are all learning together. You don't, none of you have to, like, there is no perfect answer over here. I'm just checking the language. Okay. Avoid using these terms. Uh, and focus more on the positive aspects of it. I'm improving in maths. Okay. I will improve my math grades gradually, and it's okay. It's okay. I don't have to immediately get 100%, 90% in the next, term. Thank you, everyone. One last, okay? Good suggestions, good statements. So there's this is not a student, this is an office goer, Preeti, who has prepared well for her presentation at the office meeting, okay? While presenting, she forgets to mention one crucial point. At the end of the meeting, her supervisor praises her and adds the point that she has missed. She feels embarrassed and dejected. So she is thinking, everyone thinks I am stupid. I am not going to get my raise now. Okay. So Aishwarya, put out the poll, please. Identify Preeti's cognitive distortions. This is the last case study. Chetna, I use different materials. That's great to know, Chetna. That's good. Acha, you're saying, okay, got it. Uh-huh. We will keep it for 20 seconds more, then we will end it. And our presentation has also almost come to an end. Okay. Just a few more seconds, everyone. Okay, that's it. I should also share the results. So most of you have said negative focus. I'm so happy to see you are getting it so quickly. Yeah, and I have just shown those two slides for a very short time. So it is negative focus because we know that she has, done well, and her supervisor has praised her for the other aspects of the presentation. Okay. There's a lot of mind reading happening over here, which very few of you have ticked on, because she's saying everyone thinks I am stupid. So she's assuming what everybody else is thinking. No one has come and told her anything like that. So this is an assumption. You are reading other people's mind. And there is a lot of fortune telling also. So these are the two areas, three areas basically, which are majorly, over here. Mind reading, negative focus, fortune telling. So I am not going to get my raise now. So what's going to happen in future, I'm predicting beforehand. Okay. So now this is as the last exercise. What should Preeti tell herself? How can Preeti be kinder to herself? What will be a better narrative in this situation? Lovely, Sukaina. I love it. I am glad everyone, including my supervisor, liked my presentation. Great. I use different types of ideas. You may have to elaborate a bit on that, Sneha. I didn't get that. Fatima, oh, I have done great. Yes, focus on the positive. Okay. But what about that one point that she missed out? What is she going to do about it? I was able to put in, I can do better. Can you be a bit more specific now? What can Preeti do to ensure that next time she doesn't forget that point? Because see, like I said, give you that COVID example, crossing the road example. It's not like, oh, everything is great. I did great, great, great. That's not the idea over here. The idea is to also recognize that she needs to improve on one aspect. So recognizing the positive along with the area which requires improvement. So do combine both, okay, in your response. So give me something specific. How will she ensure she doesn't forget a crucial point next time? Yes, so that's good. My presentation was really good. Next time I will ensure that I keep a checklist with me and I can tick mark whether I've covered 1, 2, 3, 4. So that makes Preeti more organized. Next time when she's presenting, she'll be more confident and she'll not make that error because she has made an error. So there is no problem in acknowledging that. But how do you perceive it? It's not like that's the end of the world. You can improve from there. That's the idea. That's a positive narrative. Okay. So Kaina, yes, I'm really working hard today. This needs a bit more crafting, but then Zainab, this needs practice. Okay, it doesn't come like that easily. So yes, so Kaina, I will make notes. So you are giving strategies. So she is using strategies now. So I can remember the pertinent points. Alia, yes. Before giving the presentation, I'll read all the points. Very good. Next time, I ensure that all my points are included in my PPT. And I have done great and will make note of what I have missed. Beautiful, beautiful, absolutely constructive. Okay. And all right. So that's it. We have come to an end of our presentation. I will leave you with something to chew on. That is whatever we have done for all these cases today, uh, different cases that I have given you, and you all have crafted some wonderful narratives for these cases. You have to continue doing it with yourself, and I also have to continue to do it with myself. So think about some of the major incidents in your life which have been, negative, or have, has made you, feel low or less about yourself. What stories have you told yourself about those incidents in the past? Reflect on them and think that can you rephrase those stories and can you tell yourself a different story, which will be more empowering for you, which will make you feel better about yourself. So that leads to the transformation. So blaming, guilt, feelings of shame, feelings of discontent, all of those get, transformed into feelings of self-confidence, understanding that it's a process. Nobody has to be perfect all at once. There's no such thing as perfect. So we are all in the process, right? So I will be leaving and ending this presentation with this thought that we are not responsible for our first thoughts. Remember, because our brain is wired in a particular way to detect the negatives first, our focus automatically goes on the negative. And there's a reason, we saw why, the caveman principle. But how long do we dwell on those thoughts and what do we do about those thoughts? That is in our hand. Okay. So that is what we should keep in mind, that though our mind goes on to the negative, we can of course deal with it. We can do something about it. And that's it. That's it for our session. Thank you for participating. And thank you for all the different kinds of statements that have come up in the chat box. This was wonderful. I so appreciate this participation. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Well done. Very good. And if any one of you have any questions for me, if you have the time, if you would want to ask anything, feel free to ask. Thanks to all of you. Thank you so much. Lavanya, I will, one second. If any one of you want to get in touch with any workshops related to for your schools, please email at mda@dyslexiaindia.com. I've put it as a direct message, and I'm also putting it for everyone, because this month we are conducting all the free webinars and workshops. So make the most of it. If you would want us to do something, we will definitely be interested in doing awareness workshops or this particular workshop or any other. There is one coming up next week that I'm doing on assistive technology. What is out there? What are some of the practical ones for our students, which can be used free of cost? So we will do an evaluation of the resources. Do join for that. The registration link will be put up.
Hi, Diya. Just a question.
Yeah.
The session was lovely, and I'm from Tamil Nadu, so this is open for anybody, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is open.
Okay. Yeah.
Lavanya, you can just write to us, and we will be very happy to. Yes.
Yeah, I got it. I got your email number, so I'll write. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Glad you like. Recording is on YouTube. Recording is on YouTube. So we have gone live actually on YouTube. I think we are still live. So the recording is available. So Shekhar, you can just listen to the beginning part of it on YouTube. Okay, that's it. Thank you, everybody. It was a wonderful evening with all of you. The weekend is here. Enjoy your weekend. Tomorrow, the walk is happening for the World Dyslexia Awareness Month. The walk, which is being organized in Mumbai. Some of you probably are joining the walk. Have fun. I'm in Kolkata. I'm walking on a different day. So have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the walk tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, madam.
Most welcome, Shekhar. Bye-bye.